welcome to our AutoCrit Coffee Break segment. My name is Becca Brinkmeyer. I'm a best-selling author and author coach here at AutoCrit. Today, we are so thrilled to introduce to you Rick DeStefanis, and he is one of our members here at AutoCrit. We're going to be diving into his writing journey, getting some insights that could help you with your writing as well, and talking about books, which is my absolute favorite thing to do. So Rick, welcome.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
Could you just tell us a little bit about what you write? What are the stories that you are telling?
Basically, I write in two different genres, historical military fiction and historical Western fiction. Two series in my, the overall umbrella, I call it the Vietnam War series. One is predominantly active Vietnam stories, and the others are usually about veterans post-Vietnam. And the other genre is the historical Western. It's the Rawlins Saga, and it starts near the end of the American Civil War and takes you out on the Oregon Trail and up into Montana.
That sounds fantastic. And I grew up in the West, so I have a particular soft spot for Western historical fiction. It is something that you can't see because I have a fake background on. You can't see my massive, messy bookshelves, but these are stories at a particular time period that I've always been very intrigued by. So how many books do you have in each of these series?
The Rawlins series currently has 4.
Okay.
They are consecutive ongoing series with the same characters. The two Vietnam War series, a couple of the 4 of the books are paired. Melody Hill and Gamara Principle are paired, and The Ghost and Spectre of Betrayal are paired, and the rest are standalone novels.
Wonderful. As an author myself, and as someone who's really can't imagine not telling stories, right? Like this is, it's not just the dream job, it's part of who I am as a person. I've always been drawn to not only reading, I'm a voracious reader, but being able to engage in storytelling in different ways. And one of the things that for me, as this is my job, this is what I do full time, I have had to really kind of build out my toolkit. How do I tell stories effectively? How do I get the best book I can put together to give to my audience? And AutoCrit does play a role in that. So for me, I use AutoCrit throughout my process, and I'm just curious how or where in your process AutoCrit plays. Is it really more the earlier stages, kind of in your drafting to catch the big picture issues, or final polish, or just where does it fit in for you?
Well, frankly speaking, Becca, I've been writing for, let's just say, decades and decades. And when I saw AutoCrit, I was really intrigued by a lot of the things that it can do, and the various pages and postings that you guys put up on the site. And I subscribe to it. I think it's a very valuable tool, but I strictly use it as a reference. I'll go in and read the articles, and it's kind of like the thing that you were talking about. You read a lot. Well, you got a refresher, and I think when you subscribe to something like AutoCrit, you get in a flat spot once in a while. You read a few of their articles, and their creative writers are pretty good. I usually depend on them when I'm in a flat spot, but frankly, I don't hit that a lot.
It is great to have we have a lot of well-rounded resources. We can use we have things for nonfiction, we have things for fiction, we have genre fiction. I not only do I write some of those reference articles that you are referring to, but I also use them because every now and then, it doesn't matter how many books. I am currently working on book number 90 for one of my ghost clients, and it's hard to believe 90 seems like a ridiculous number. And yet I still appreciate things like a reminder that tense consistency and different word usage are things to continuously examine in our own work. I think that creativity is fantastic, but there's no one that is so skilled that they cannot keep learning. And
I feel like that you're saying all the right things. the, right off the bat, you said telling stories, and that's one of my favorite mantras. I mean, I know it's an old repeated cliche, but that's what a really good writer does. They tell a story. The reading you talked about. Well, I read a lot. Well, it amazes me when I hear, especially it's normally a new writer, will say, "Oh, I don't have to read. I don't read." I'm amazed by that
hurts
because,
me.
yeah, right. No, the reading is just a, to me, it's almost an integral part of being an author. And I don't just read what I write. I mean, I'm talking about the genres. I read everything. I mean, try to see what's out there, what people are saying, and the way they're saying it, and the stories they're telling.
I completely agree with you. And, one of the things for me that is so fun about being an author and a storyteller is that I appreciate, I mean, we all want to sell books. If we're writing for other people to read, selling the books is key. I would like to keep selling them, pays my rent, love that. But what I like to tell people is that the most valuable thing that my readers can give me is not actually the $9.99 or whatever it was for my book. It's the 5 hours of uninterrupted time that they spent reading the words and getting lost in that story that I created, that they then sometimes send me very funny emails about.
And the thing is, it's so rewarding when you get those.
It is.
The reviews or the emails like that, they just they make you say to yourself, "Oh, it was all worthwhile." I mean, one review, one of the right type of. I had one last year in August from the UK on a book, and this guy wrote a review that just it made my year. It was so.
I love that.
It's just those types of things are really meaningful to us, and like you said, it keeps us going.
It does. There are days where, one of the things that I always like to talk about with other authors is that sometimes we do get stuck. Not always, not sometimes for some people, it's not very often, but every now and then, I feel like every author I've ever talked to has been like, yes, I have been through a slump at times where my creativity and what I want to write are just not meshing the way that I want it to.
I have not had a lot of problems with knowing what I want to write as much as how I want to write it. Which of these is going to be my POV, and what is the real story? And that's one thing I think a lot of folks miss, especially when they're writing stories that I call war stories. I like to say I don't write war stories. Yes, my Vietnam series is actually full of pretty graphic, violent war, but that's not the story. Several reviewers have really found that and recognized that, and they say it's really the character and the story behind the story in the war. And the war is a catalyst. That's all it is, and that's been my goal. I don't know that I always hit it because a lot of the readers really focus on the battle scenes when I'm thinking, gosh, they should be looking at the character. What did the character do?
Right. I don't write any war or battle scenes. I am a romance author. I write cowboys every now and then, but they're cowboys who live in small town Montana or something like that. But I don't want to write a fantasy so much as I want to write a flawed person. I want to write someone who's complicated. I want to write human emotion and the journey. Yes, we can, sometimes we just want a little piece of something fluffy and you're just like, okay, I want to know exactly what I'm going to get. But other times I want to go on a somewhat winding journey with my reader where we're going to explore some heavy hitting topics in a different way. And it's going to be, as you said, it's going to be led by the characters because they're the ones experiencing this. And real people experience things in messy, messy ways.
So true. So true. And Montana, I can't believe that's my wife and I, that's our favorite adopted state.
Well, I think, one of the things that we get to do with our art is we get to take our characters to so many interesting places. So, as we close out, which setting, if you look back in all of your books that you have right now, which setting for you was the absolute favorite or most meaningful to write for your characters?
Hmm. You're right. That's a tough question.
Yes.
And I think about Rawlins and his journey with his wife Sarah into out the Oregon Trail, then turning up the Bozeman Trail into Montana, and then I can think about the various characters in the Vietnam War series, and their every one of my books has a strong secondary female protagonist. Uh,
Hmm.
every one of them, just about, I think, as far as I can remember. But anyway, um, but I have one more book that's not neither one of those genres. It's called Tallahatchie. It's written about a furniture factory down just south of where I live here in Mississippi, in the Mississippi Delta. And
Oh, wow.
there is a Tallahatchie County, and there is a Tallahatchie River. There's not a town of Tallahatchie, which is what I use as my fictional town. But that writing about that and those people whom I've lived here all my life, so I know. But yeah, I'd say the Mississippi Delta is the place that was most inspiring to me. And I've seen them win jackpots at the casino and show up 6 months later broke. I've seen the guy who backed his whole truck and boat into the lake completely till it was floating and then sunk. I've seen these things, and they're in the book.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, you know, you can't make it up.
Oh, that sounds fascinating and completely different to anything being on a West Coast person. And so, where can we buy your books? Where are your books available?
Well, right now they're exclusively they're on Amazon,
Amazon? Okay.
and but we are the next book I'm coming out with. I'm co-authoring the next one. An old veteran came to me and asked me if I would help him write his book. So we're co-authoring a book about the fourth psychological operations group, which he was a section chief there in Saigon in 1969 and 70. And
Oh, wow.
so yeah, it's the next one coming out.
Just where can we find your books? And then
Yeah.
I will have you send me your links so that I can put them in the captions.
Well, Amazon, or you could go to my webpage, which is pretty simple, www.rickdestephanus.com, if you can spell that last name. But this next one, the reason I brought it up, we're going wide with it,
Okay,
and it should be just everywhere.
awesome. Do we have a release date for that one?
We're shooting for July 4th, but I'm not sure.
With that, I would just like to thank you so much for spending a coffee break with me today.
It's been a great coffee break.
Oh, my background, that's it. Have a wonderful rest of your day, Rick. It has been a pleasure.